22nd, 2009. My name is Dylan Kaiser, and I am here interviewing World War II veteran Jack Blanchfield. Where and when were you born?
I was born in Schenectady on March 10th, 1924. I'm 85 years old now, soon to be 86. And I'm the oldest of 5 boys. And shortly after I was 4, my brother Jim had been born, we moved to Amsterdam. My father was with the Union Star newspaper in Schenectady. We moved to Amsterdam, where I spent the rest of my life as being the oldest of 5 boys was very interesting because I've always got the clothes, and then this another boy was born or something like that. I got new clothes and I passed him. Being the oldest was okay. But I have 4 brothers. My brother Jim died in 1983. He's 2 years younger. My brother Tom is a retired colonel. He was in the Korean War. He got the Silver Star, which is pretty darn good. That's what he got his group to get off Old Walby. That was one of the major battles in Korea. And after Tom, my brother Patrick, he's out in Connecticut. And my brother Bill, the baby, he taught at Utica College for many years, just retired. And that's a branch of Syracuse University. The 5 of us. And I never saw a young lady grow up until our first child was a girl. I had a lot to learn, and I'm still learning from it. Anyhow, go ahead, whatever. I started with Schenectady, went to Amsterdam.
What did your parents do for a living?
My father, in his latest job, was circulation manager for the Amsterdam headquarters. Prior to that, he was the assistant circulation manager for the Union Star in Schenectady. And when he got the opportunity to become circulation manager, we moved to Amsterdam. My mother did not work. She was a housewife. She was the 3rd of 6 children. Her parents came over from Ireland in the late 1800s. And my father's parents came over from Ireland and also in the late 1800s. So I'm of Irish background, and my parents were first American citizens. Both were wonderful people.
What was your educational background like?
Okay, I graduated from St. Mary's Institute in Amsterdam in 1941. I was in 3rd or 4th grade class. And I got a scholarship to Niagara University for $200 a year in 1941. The total cost of going to Niagara, but it just said still, was $500 a year, not semester, a whole year. And I got my degree, a Bachelor of Arts degree, in November of 1946 after having been in service for 3 years. Yes. And I haven't done much since then. Our daughter, Maureen, is now a professor at the University of Florida. She opened up an Irish pub at St. Augustine's after she retired from the business world. She was president of Sara Lee's and president of Burger King. She was very successful in that field. But then she opened an Irish pub. She had always promised my mother her ring at St. Augustine's. And her part-time job was teaching international business at the University of Florida.
What was it like for you growing up during the Great Depression?
I course, was quite young. I knew what was going on. My father, and working for a newspaper, was right adjacent, his office was right adjacent to a railroad station. And very frequently, he would bring home Henry or Alf or somebody that who just got off a train and brought him home for supper. We didn't have dinner at nights those days. We had dinner at noontime and we had supper. And he'd bring a person home at that. I really didn't feel any impact. My father worked, and the kids kept coming. And I was aware of what was going on because it was in the 30s, and I remember my father bringing these men in for supper with us. And maybe they'd go out and clean up the garage or stay overnight with us. Then with 5 boys being developed, it wasn't unusual for the 3 of us to be locked in one bed. Henry or Albert was hitchhiking or get on a train and stay overnight. That's about my only awareness. We were not hurt financially. Thank God. My father was able to work all the time. Dylan?
Were you drafted into the war, or did you enlist?
No, in those memoirs, you'll see. I was a sophomore at Niagara University in 1941 when they bombed Pearl Harbor. That was in 41. That was the year I graduated from high school. And so, at that point, everybody, and it's in those memoirs, I'll tell you more about it. I was part of college that had ROTC, Reserve Officer Training Corps, which you had it, you learned it a little bit. So when I turned 18, which was in 1942, I had applied through a certain group of where you could get in, you could enlist, but I was guaranteed that if I enlisted in 1942 when I became 18, I enlisted, I could complete that last semester. So I enlisted. I had a little problem with my parents, but they agreed. It was fine for me to do it. So I was not drafted. I enlisted. In 1943, I was called to service at that point. Went to Camp Upton with some fellows that I met, and there I met. Report. And from there I went to Fort McClellan, Alabama. Since I'd been trained in the infantry, I had infantry training at Fort McClellan. And that's when I first found out about segregation. And it was very, very evident in Alabama.
What was the highest rank you ever held?
It was very interesting. I was a private. When I went into combat as a replacement, I became a PFC, private first class. After I got out of prison camp and came back into service again, I was raised to corporal. And I was discharged as a corporal. But I enjoyed what I did.
What were some of the major campaigns you were involved with?
Campaigns, I got medals for 3 campaigns, and actually, I went in as a replacement of Omaha Beach, and a little side line event. I'm not very tall, and I went over on the Mauritania as a replacement, and right after the invasion, and I got invasion money from Australia that we were getting, that we could use. And didn't let me go shopping or anything, but I looked, and it's mentioned someplace, European, African. There were 3 different campaigns that the medal was given, and the 5th Division, I was a member of, was part of that. I was primarily in the European, okay? Landed as replacement at Omaha Beach, and they were just burying the guys. And one of the guys that got killed was one of my neighbors, a classmate of mine, a guy by the name of Tom Crump. He was killed in the invasion. And then right after that, I was tied up with George Patton in the 5th Division. They had been up in Iceland, and then they were transferred down to the northern part of Ireland, and then they were sent to Shelburne and Moselle River, and that's for the medal. The medal it was getting 3 campaigns, but actually it was only the European campaign that I was in against the Germans.
Was your family aware of your situation during the war?
No. I get upset about this. I got the telegram that they got when I got hit. My buddies got killed. I got that telegram, and that was early November 5th, 1944. And they got a letter after that in March, and they were still missing in action. So it was a long time before they knew. In the meantime, when I got captured, I have a letter that I was able to write. The Germans let me write from the prison war camp. And they heard from me in February. So up until that point, they had known that, but they really didn't get any permanent. And they just knew I was missing. And the other 3 guys were killed. And they took their uniforms, the Germans did, took their uniforms, and they used them for the Battle of the Bulge. But my parents didn't know that hurt me.
Was there anything you were forced to do at the POW camp?
At first, they were kind of rough. I mean, me, they were kind of rough with some of the other guys. There was one pilot I know, it's in that memoirs. He was in a cell when I was taken to Furbush. I was put in private jail for a while. And they took him out. He was met by a bunch of natives. He got killed. After we got to a prison camp, I felt more secure because they gave us dog tags. I was Noel Stephen Hart, Noel 916, 078, 069. So we knew that it was probably safe at that time. But up until that point, the other 3 guys were killed. We just got hit hard. I was lucky enough we just got hit by shrapnel and stuff. And I guess I was small enough I could get deep in the hole. But anyhow, keep going, because I may bounce around here. That was a part. Go ahead. I got stuck by a bayonet once in a while because they used to ask me, it was November 4th. It was a Sunday night. And Roosevelt was running for the 3rd time. And we hadn't moved much because the tanks ran out of gas. And Patton was a great general, but sometimes we overran what we could do. And the questions that most of the Germans interpreters were interested in were we really going to start a really concentrated drive? And Roosevelt, wasn't he going to start that drive to run for his next year? I think he was running against Tom Dewey before that had been governor of the state of New York. And so they were quite inquisitive about that. And kind of rough at some point. Once we got to camp, we got with guys who had been with the German army and were guards for us, so they understood what combat was about. Anyhow, keep going, tell me.
What was your relationship with the German guards like?
At first, it a lot of questions and that kind of stuff. But as you read, up until April 27th, 1944, we were in a work group. I was the interpreter. We got called by the under officer who was in charge, and he also had 6 guards, that we were to march to Denmark. They were going to take us to Denmark to continue war up in that area. And so we walked for about 200 miles or so. We were strafed. We lost some of the guys. And this one guard, whose picture was here, Kurt Hopke, he helped us. And as we went in that long war, most of the people were throwing out, am I staying on track? Most of the people we went through Tetro, Gustro, and a couple of other villages, and they were hanging out white sheets because the Russians were right behind us. So we kept walking, and Kurt stayed with us. And once we reached the 8th Division, which was in Schwerin, we had to turn him over to the MPs. And from that day until he died 2 years ago, he and I have been in touch with each other. Writing, talking about our kids, our grandkids, our wives, and just being, he was really a nice guy. A side thing of how nice a guy he was, once he stopped with and he met some other German soldiers, he was the only guard stayed with us. I don't know what happened to the other 6 guys, but we never saw him again. But Kurt stayed with us. And one night, I was asleep, because we didn't get the 8th Division until May the 4th. He came, he tapped me on the back. He said, "Come on, we got a party." And we went out, and I walked back along the road and up a little hill and everything, and there was a little fire going with some rocks and things. And there were 4 young German girls, and they were cooking what we'd call hot dogs or something, and they were cooking it. So we had a party, and we had a little beer, but it was 20 minutes, so I could drink. And so we met these 4 girls up there. I woke up the next morning in a wagon and straw and everything. Kurt leaned over. He was sleeping with me. He leaned over. I said, "There you are." He said, I said, "You smell bad." He said, "I had a few beers." It was a relationship that was fantastic. We needed him. He needed us. Anyhow.
At the end of your stay at the POW camp, were you released, or were you rescued, or how did you get out of there?
I retract to what I said. The under officer came to me and said, "I've been told that we're going to take you, all 160 of you guys, up to Denmark. We're going to continue the war." And we kept that. As we took off, and we lost the 6 guards. I never wanted to know what happened to them, but they gave me the officer's pistol, so I knew something had happened. But no, we reached the 8th Division, and that was the end of captivity, because right after that we went to Hildesheim. They put us on a plane, and we went to Namur, Belgium. And we took a train down to Camp Lucky Strike, and I met Ike. He was standing in the wing of the plane. And he said, you want to go home?" The next thing I know was the SS Explorer in West.
What were your feelings towards the Germans as a whole?
There were two sets of Germans that many of the jobs we had to perform, like digging stumps from trees to build a road, and then building roadblocks and so on. There were Nazis, and then there were the German people. And the German people were wonderful people. As it turned out, later in life, when I became in charge of personnel and public relations for Nationwide, a young lady was working for us that we had hired. And she was German, and she had married a Hungarian fellow who had been drafted by the German army. And so she came from Munich, München, as they would say there in Germany. And she came home one night after Munich had been bombed and everything. She came home from school. She was about 12 or 13 years old at that point. Her mother hung herself. She thought her pain. She couldn't take any more bombing. And Schwerin was near Dusseldorf. They could hit pretty hard bombing. So, but to get back basically to your question, the German people were wonderful people. We traded cigarettes to them to get food, because when I was finally liberated to the 88th Division, I weighed 88 pounds. I had lost quite a bit. But they were concerned about us. They would slip some food to us once in a while. I found them to be really nice people. If they were strict Nazis, then we had a problem. Because they came around at times, the German people, that German guards, soldiers, so on. And they checked dog tags. If they found they were Jewish, which was on the dog tag, we never saw them again. American soldiers were taken and we saw them put on trucks, and they took them away. And then we had to play games with our dog tags. Christians all had to play games. So whatever the German people, I think some of them felt that the Nazis were good, that there was a lot of talk that the Germans after World War I did not get a really good shot at it. They had the Treaty of Versailles did not give them much at all. And that's where Hitler began to rise, and he did a lot for Germany at that point, building roads, etc. From what I understand from history, maybe you turn that page to it. And that's how he got involved. And then he grew more people to him and went off on a tangent to become what he ever did become. Anyhow,
where were you when Pearl Harbor was attacked?
I was at Niagara University, and I started off when Pearl Harbor was bombed, December 7th, 1941. And I named the guys who had a movie. It cost us 25 cents to go to the movie. We were standing outside of Walgreens drugstore waiting for a bus, or a trolley, or a bus, I think it was, to get back to the university. And I started out my memoirs with that situation. And I have some letters. Some of the guys that were in service and so on at that point in time. One of my best friends was a submarine. He survived. But he stayed as a submariner for a long time. It's a tough job. Anyway.
Did you agree with Roosevelt's counterattack against the Japanese and the use of the atomic bomb?
In retrospect, yes. The war would have continued, and I think it was a horrible piece of equipment that we had. But it was a situation that I think he had to make a decision. It was probably pretty hard for a guy like him to, let's stop it now. We had this thing, the atomic bomb and so on. Interesting thing, when we were POWs, Roosevelt died in April of 1944. And we had a guy in charge of getting information, and it's in that memoirs that I mentioned. So they told me that Roosevelt had died. So that morning we had some guy that traded cigarettes to get a bugle. So I called him all to attention and made him right face to go to face the west. Hand salute. The guy played taps on the bugle. And the under officer and the guards did not understand what was going on. They said Roosevelt was told Roosevelt was dead. They did not know it. We knew it. We heard it from BBC and his broadcasters. But back to your basic question, it must have been a terribly difficult decision, knowing that he was going to kill a lot of people, but it was probably necessary. August of 1945, August 15th. And that took place when the war was really over. I was with my mother and father watching the Trotters at Saratoga Racetrack. Tough decision for him to make. We had a lot of great men at that point. We had Churchill. We had the French general, Stalin. I guess he was pretty good for his country and so on. And Roosevelt had to make a lot of tough decisions. Please.
What was your transition back to civilian life like?
Quite easy. When I came back to the States, I had a 70-day furlough. It was the summer of '45. And after that furlough was over in September of '45, they sent me up to Lake Placid Club, which just north. It was beautiful up there. We had waiters and waitresses. There was a few of us. And then I was sent down to Camp J.T. Robinson down in Little Rock, Arkansas. And it was the spring of '45. Europe had been closed up at that point in time. So they put me in charge of it. Business there, anybody, you had to have a certain number of points to be discharged. And my job was to supervise 14 young ladies who did the typewriting down Little Rock. And I used to get more chicken on Sundays from different families down there. It was great. So I was gradually getting back. But then I had to go back to, I went back to Niagara when I was discharged in December of '45. And discharged from the military. And I went back to Niagara in the fall of 1946 I got my degree. And the little bit of history I was with, I was sent to North Carolina State College, Raleigh, North Carolina. Sent there for 2 semesters with the ASTP, Army Specialized Training Program. I was studying engineering, and the 2 semesters I had there, the credits I got from the North Carolina State College was applied to my reports at Niagara. They accepted me part of them. So I got my degree in, I think it was October of 1946. And I went back home, went to work at the shoe store in town, McCann's, and got 40 cents an hour. Had my degree in 1947. I had a blind date. And then I got myself a job with Nationwide Insurance Company as a claims adjuster, and eventually moved up the ladder until I became in charge of personnel and public relations. So it was kind of an easy way back in. I knew it had to work. It always had to work, and no problem getting back in the work field and finding a pretty girl, like young lady that I met from Hudson Falls on a blind date. Great.
What would you say was the most important thing the war taught you?
have to say relationships with people. My relationship with Kurt Popke. He'd steal food for us. He wasn't a Nazi, he was just a gentleman who had been wounded at Stalag, the Russian front, put in the hospital. And recuperating, they gave him an easy job taking care of field wounds. I think I learned so much more about humanity, about giving people a chance to show who really they were. And that relationship is the basis for that newspaper article. It's been the basis of maybe 60 years of written conversation with Kurt and his family and his wife, Aunt Ruby, and his two sons, Manfred and Christian, and now his granddaughter, Sonia, who's emailing back and forth with our granddaughter, Megan. I think besides the horrors that I saw, that I had to be part of, to really sit back and take a look. That relationship is something that meant an awful lot to me, for people. And I think that's why I was so successful in the personnel business, that I could accept people. What I learned they were about, not what I heard or what I was supposed to. It started when I went to Fort McClellan in Alabama. It's all segregation. And I had to watch what we never knew up here. And then to meet a gentleman who was my enemy and become great friends for 60 years. It's meant a lot of what I am, what I hope our kids are, and grandkids, and great-grandkids. Now, this past March, we had our 9th great-grandchild born on my birthday. Now, that's the best present I could get. Dylan? Whatever.
What do you think our generation and other younger generations need to take away from this interview and the importance of World War II?
The importance of World War II, now I have to throw it into comparison of what's going on in Iraq and Europe and Afghanistan. We lost a guy from Chestertown not too long ago. We had a real reason for World War II, and the whole country took over. We had women working in factories. We had to get rationing to get butter, to get shoes, to get tires. It was a war that everybody was involved in, whether they themselves or their families, as my family was so involved. And now we're faced with other wars that I wonder at times why sometimes. But I don't have that much to say. But everybody was involved in World War II, and if we hadn't done what we did, and I lost five guys that I lived right around the corner from, who were killed in World War II. So many were lost. Bill Hoppy, Andy Hopkins, and Johnny English, and Tommy Crone, and Bill Hill. I could name them off. The guys that when I came back on, they'd been killed in different places. So World War II was something that we had to do. And it meant an awful lot to this country. An awful lot to Europe as such. I mean, if Hitler was let loose, God knows what would have happened. He had more than the Jewish people. But it was something that quite a bit to me, my parents, my brothers. Pat, your parents, and so on.
I didn't know him then.
No. She was still in school at Hudson Falls. And she decided to become a nurse. A priest that I palled around with, only Patrick I knew that drank beer and had a car. So I hung around with him. And he was the chaplain at the hospital in Amsterdam where she was, learning how to be a nurse. And he said, I'm having a dance and you're going on Pat's side. I said, wonderful. Who is she? You'll like her. He was right. That was 47. So we'll be married 63 years. Pretty soon. 48. 62 years in June. Happy and healthy. Dylan,
Well,
where are we going from here?
I think that covers pretty much everything I wanted to ask you, but is there anything else you'd want to say?
I want you to take the memoirs, okay? I want you to keep that poem. When I had free time, I wrote poetry. I felt so badly that when I came back from service, my brother Tom was still in school, and Jim was he was next to me. He was in Merchant Marine. He found a young lady down in Argentina, married her, and came back with her. And then my brother Pat, when I came back, he was 10 years old. My brother Bill, when I came back, he was 6. I remember Bill coming up to me and saying, "Oh, you're Jack?" Anyhow, great adventure. Can I show you some things? You got enough time?
Yes.
Yeah, I never got dates or anything. This pretty much holds it all. I don't know what would be a good place. You're doing all the work, I'm doing all the talking. These are things that I kept.
I'll
These-
move out. Can you use this chair?
These are pieces of the paper that when I was missing and so on.
Excuse me.
Whatever.
You guys want a cookie?
Take more looks at it. These were newspapers.
Yes or
I'm
no?
fine.
These are telegrams that my parents got when I was missing. This, I can't read them without my glasses, but these are the telegrams. This was a picture was taken in Namur, Belgium, and I weighed 88 pounds. And this very interesting. I was permitted to write a letter to my parents when I was in prison camp by the Germans. So this was the German Krieg Fingernagelschau. That's that letter. And these, if you'd like to look at it, they're kind of horrible things. And this, I think, is the letter in March when they said they still didn't know what was going on with me. I was still missing. It was horrible. This is a map of where we were and where we walked. This is the original picture. And this guy sold his shirt to get a camera, and then he got one of the civilians to take pictures. This was after we got to Schwerin, and this tall guy is Kurt Pocket. These are me. This was a POW camp. Pictures. This. This is invasion money. This is money we were given to be used in France. And this was the 5th Division that I had learned. But this was invasion money. And this, I got paid for work I did for when I was a POW. It's German marks. However, they wouldn't let me go shopping. So I got 36 marks for working for the Germans. And this we had to carry all the time in case we got a chance. But that's invasion money. The one there, and then these 10 francs. So these are letters, V-mail, that I wrote. I think one of them's to my grandma, and one's to my mom and dad, and the kids, the boys. V-mail, that's what we could use. And these, as they say somewhere in France, I couldn't say where we were with that once I was in. And this is a letter that I think I got from Guardian Lindsay. When he found out that I was missing, he put my name in a torpedo. He was the guy that was in a submarine. These are pictures of me at, this was Fort McClellan. This was this summer. I was off. This is my mom and dad, the younger brothers, me. This was Fort McClellan. We were just learning what was going on. I was with the 87th Division after I got out of North Carolina State College with ASDP. I was with these guys. It was the Acorn Division, and they pulled me out of there to go over as a replacement. And this group, the Acorn Division, they fought in the Battle of the Bulge, and I know 3 of these guys were killed in the Battle of the Bulge. And I always wanted to stay with that group, but they wanted me, so I had to go wherever. These are pictures of the same group. My Uncle Francis, his wife, and son. This is me in furlough in Amsterdam. These I had a time out, and another guy, Dan Cogden, and I, we hitchhiked up to South Carolina. We met these 2 girls, 2 pretty ones. That old, I can't remember what her name is. This is Kurt Popke and his wife and one of their sons, I think. Christian was the oldest one, and then Manfred came next. This is another letter from when I got something. I have one of my glasses on, so I can't read it. Maybe you could. Can you read?
According with your request, your personal property, which was received at the Army Defense, being forwarded to you at the above address.
Yeah. Whatever. This is a letter that I got from a guy from New Jersey. He was a POW with me. And in that, he says two things that were very important. Jack DeHuff, he, the under officer who was in charge, we had one guard, we called him Peanut Head. He was shell-shocked. At one time, he pointed his rifle at some of the guys who were working at that point, building the roadblock, pointed his gun at him, and they didn't want, they were afraid he was going to shoot him, so they clocked him and carried him in. One of our guys was carrying his rifle. And in this, Jack said he was caught with Peanut Head. He was cleaning Peanut Head's rifle, and Peanut Head was darning his socks. So the under officer, John, whatever his name is, he came in, checked him, and he couldn't understand why Peanut Head's rifle was being cleaned by an American POW. And Peanut Head was darning their socks. But that was one bit of trouble, and then Huff used to get in touch with a French priest, and they had the BBC, so he knew what was going on. He knew when Roosevelt died, so we had that service and so on. The Huff was in charge of pouring the cement and the sand together, and we had to build wooden stationed so that the sand, so the concrete could be poured into them. And they would, from this side of the road, they would come out this way, and from this side of the road, they would come this way. So that you had to go through these two. And the Russian tanks couldn't make it through there. However, D. Huff mentions in here that he didn't understand German so much, and that's why when they took down the framing that we had made out of wood, and these two things, and we had poured sand and cement in it, he had put about 6 times the amount of sand in to the cement, and all of a sudden it all collapsed. So he writes it here in this letter that another time we went on strike. We decided we weren't going to work anymore on Sundays. So I had to tell the owner officer and everybody that we were going on strike. We weren't going to work anymore on Sundays. And it took a little while, and I got put in solitary, but we went on strike, and we didn't work anymore on Sundays. That was it. So, and that's a map letter and a bunch of other letters that I got from guys that they remember about. This is a letter I wrote to my mom and dad. This was my diary that I started, where I wrote poetry. And this is a poem I wrote about the guys. There's a guy from Hudson Falls that was a POW with me. His name was Jackie Yole. There were Yoles. It was Tom, and he had that. I was made, we were stuffed in boxcars and traveled from one end of France to the other. And when I got back home, I became a member of Knights on the Road. You had to be in railroad cars here in the States. So they put me as a member of that. And these are Kurt's. This is Kurt. He had camera, and this is one of the things he gave me, Kurt. This is a letter I wrote to the kids. My brothers. And this is part of that pic. This is a copy of that one picture, and this was the other end of it. And this is Kurt, and this is he as a German soldier. And this is, I think, one of his first letters. This is from Sonia, his granddaughter. The War Claims Commission. This is one of these guys. It's from Rochester. When I mentioned we went to Lake Placid Club for R&R, and that's in the book. This guy was a POW with me. Raul, he was from Texas. This is Kurt here. His wife Anne Marie, she died in '04. This pretty little thing was Sonia. Then the 2 sons and their kids are all here. Another poem I wrote about a German boy I saw sitting in that stream. Unless I showed you. This was when World War II was over. It was August of 1945. This was signed by Mario Cuomo, governor of the state of New York. I had to give a speech up on Prospect Mountain one time. And then we gave a POW medal. And I got a POW medal. And got Purple Heart. The Germans bandaged me up quite a bit. If you have time, take a look at that memoirs. I think about it again. It's me practicing with my M1 and the bayonet. This Harry Truman. This, I think, was a speech I made up on the mountain. It's Kurt. these are just my discharge. The 87th Division, the 8th Corps Division. Great bunch of guys. They got held up in the bulge. That's my discharge papers. And honorable. And this is one of the Stalags I was with. Kind of place it worked. That's this is my brother Jim. He was with the Merchant Marine. It wasn't until about 3 or 4 years ago that the Merchant Marine was really recognized. So I got his papers. He had died since then. And my brother Tom, when he got the Silver Star, my brother Jim was buried. It's Tom. Porky used to call him. That's Tom. And these are the letters I received from back to the beginning again. But this is pretty much, that's Kurt, Anne Marie. This is another picture of that one. Kurt and Anne Marie in Germany. And that's Sonia. I was invited to her wedding a couple of years ago. Couldn't make it though. Anyhow, folks, those are memoirs. Non-stars, all these other ones.